Teamendless83podcast in the building, man. Back for episode 45. NFL week number 6, titled New Life. Alright, I'm gonna get down to business. Alright, let's get down to business. Follow Teamendless83podcast on IG, Facebook, Coach Kenyon McAfee, YouTube, Kenyon McAfee 3191, Kenyon McAfee Choices Interlude, A True Testimony on YouTube. On the WEEEK page, Word of Prayer. Alright, do my intros. Shout out to $1 million worth of game. Math Hoffa, Gills Arenas, Drink Champs, Joe Bun Podcast, Pivot Podcast, Breakfast Club, It Is What It Is Podcast, Vlad TV, DJ Academics, All the Smoke, Nightcap Podcast, Stephen A. Smith Podcast, First Take, First Things First, Colin Cowherd, RP Miss Riddick, RP Coach Lynch, RP Radio, shout out Young L, shout out Suitland High School, shout out Peppermill Pirates, they got the dub, shout out Bowie Bulldogs, AU, shout out all the coaches out there across America, man, coaches doing your thing. Alright, let's get down to business. Teamendless83 podcast, episode 45, NFL week 6, titled New Life. Alright. New life for me, man. Taking my new journey. Getting saved and baptized again. Joining Glenarm Church. New journey, man. About to be 41 in December 16th. God is, God did, God first. Man, shout out to everybody, man. Let's get down to business. Alright, Thursday's games. Thursday, October 10th. 49ers 36, the Seahawks 24. All my sources come from ESPN. Website. Alright, that's where I get all my information from. Alright, so Thursday, October 10th, 49ers 36, Seattle 24. Sunday, October 13th, Commanders 23, the Ravens 30. Jaguars versus the Bears. The Bears won 35-16. Texans 41 versus the Patriots 21. Browns 16 versus the Eagles 20. You had the Cardinals versus the Packers 34-13. The Packers won. You had the Buccaneers versus the Saints 51-27. The Buccaneers won. You had the Colts versus the Titans. The Colts won 2017. You had the Chargers 23 versus the Broncos 23-16. You had the Steelers 32 versus the Raiders 13. You had the Lions 47 versus the Cowboys 9. You had the Falcons 38 versus the Panthers 20. You had the Bengals 17 versus the New York Giants 7. You had the Bills versus the Jets 23-20. Alright. NFL week 7. Thursday, October 17th, 2024. Broncos 3-3 versus the Saints 2-4, 8:15 p.m. kick, Prime Video. The spread is Denver -2, The total is 37.5. The money line is New Orleans plus 105. I like the Broncos in that game. Sunday, October 20th, 2024. Panthers 1-5 versus the Commanders 4-2. 4-5 kick. CBS, the spread is Washington -7.5. Total is 51.5. The money line is Carolina plus 290. Alright, you got the Patriots 1-5 versus the Jaguars 1-5. That's a London game. 9:30 a.m. NFL Network. The spread is Jacksonville -5.5. The total is 42.5. The money line is New England plus 200. I like the Jaguars. Alright, you got the Titans 1-4 plus the versus the Bills 4-2. 1 p.m. 1 p.m. on CBS. The spread is Buffalo 8.5. The total is 42.5. The money line is Tennessee plus 360. Alright, you got the Texans 5-1 versus the Packers 4-2. 1 p.m. Kick CBS. The spread is Green Bay 2.5. The total is 47.5. The money line is Houston 125. Alright, Sunday, October 20th, 2024. You got the Eagles 3-2 versus the New York Giants 2-4. 1 p.m. on Fox. The spread is Philly -3.5. The total is 42.5. The money line is New York Giants plus 150. I like the Eagles. Alright, the Lions 4-1 versus the Vikings 5-0. 1 p.m. on Fox. The spread is Minnesota -2.5. The total is 49.5. The money line is Detroit plus 110. Alright, I like the Lions. Alright, Seattle 3-3 versus the Falcons 4-2. 1 p.m. kick on Fox. The spread is ATL -3. The total is 50.5. The money line is Seattle plus 130. I like the Falcons to win that game. Alright, the Bengals 2-4 versus the Browns 1-5. 1 p.m. Kick CBS. The spread is Cincinnati 4.5. The total is 43.5. The money line is Cleveland 190. I like the Bengals. Alright, the Dolphins 2-3 versus the Colts 3-3. 1 p.m. kick on Fox. The spread is the Colts -3.5. The total is 43.5. The money line is plus 155. I like the Dolphins. The Raiders are 2-4 versus the Rams 1-4. 4:05 p.m. CBS. The spread is the Rams -5.5. The total is 43.5. The money line is Vegas plus 210. Alright. The Chiefs is 5-0 versus the 49ers 3-3. 4:25 p.m. on Fox. The spread is San Francisco 1.5. The total is 46.5. The money line is KC is even. I like the Chiefs in that game. Alright, the Jets is 2-4 versus the Steelers 4-2. 8:20 p.m. Kick NBC on Peacock. The spread is the Jets -1.5. The total is 37.5. The money line is Pitt the money line is Pitt even. I like the Jets to win that game. No, actually, I had the Steelers to win that game. All right. Monday, October 21st, 2024. The Ravens is 4-2 versus the Bucks. 4-2, 8-15. The spread is Baltimore -3.5. The total is 48.5. Tampa Bay money line +160. I like the Ravens to win that game. Monday, October 21st, 2024. The Chargers 3-2 versus the Cardinals 2-4. 9 p.m. ESPN Plus. The spread is Los Angeles Chargers -2.5. The total is 43.5. The money line is Arizona +125. I like the Chargers to win that game. That's my picks for next week. Alright, NFL top headlines. Officiating among Rodgers greats in giveaway loss. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. McCarthy, Cowboys relish chance to bounce back. The Lions coach won't count out Hutchinson return. The Chargers coach Harbaugh to wear a heart monitor. Prayers out to Coach Harbaugh. Sirianni apologized for yelling at the Eagles. Boo Birds. Alright. The 49ers Purcell practices for first time since shooting. That's a good thing. Commanders lose standout D-tackle Allen for the season. That's a tough loss for the Commanders. Alright. Coach Watson gives Brown best shot to win. Alright, they're sticking with Deshaun Watson. Alright, the standings for the AFC, Jacksonville at 1-5. New England at number 16, Jacksonville at 1-5. Number 15, New England at 1-5. Number 14, Cleveland at 1-5. Number 13, Tennessee at 1-4. Number 12, Cincinnati at 2-4. Number 11, Las Vegas Raiders at 2-4. Number 10, the New York Giants at 2-4. Number 9, Miami at 2-3. Number 8, Denver at 3-3. Number 7, Colts at 3-3. Number 6, Chargers at 3-2. Number 5, Pittsburgh at 4-2. Number 4, Buffalo at 4-2. Number 3, Baltimore at 4-2. Number 2, Houston at 5-1. Number 1, Kansas City at 5-0. Alright, for the NFC, you got Carolina at number 16 at 1-5. You got the Rams at 1-4. You got the Giants at 2-4. You got the Colts at New Orleans at 2-4. You got Arizona at 2-4. You got Seattle at 3-3. You got at number 10, you got Dallas at 3-3. Number 9, you got San Francisco at 3-3. Number 8, you got Philly at 3-2. Number 7, you got Chicago at 4-2. Number 6, you got Green Bay at 4-2. Number 5, you got Tampa Bay at 4-2. Number 4, you got Washington at 4-2. Number 3, you have Atlanta at 4-2. Number 2, you have Detroit at 4-1. Number 5, you have Minnesota at 5-0. Alright, your offensive leaders passing. Joe Burrow is at number 5, Cincinnati, 1,578 yards. Number 4 is Kirk Cousins, Atlanta, 1,598 yards. Dak Prescott at number 3, 1,602 yards. Number 2 is Brock Purdy for San Francisco, is 1,629. Number 1 is Geno Smith, Seattle at 1,778. All right, your Russian leaders. Jay Jacobs for Green Bay is at 464. All right, Saquon Barkley is number 4 for Philly at 482. Number 3 is C. Herbert for the Carolina Panthers at 485. Number 2 is Jay Mason for San Francisco at 609. Number 1 is Derrick Henry for Baltimore at 704. All right, your receiving leaders. You got CeeDee Lamb for Dallas at 467. Number 5, you have, that's number 5. Number 4 is DK Metcalf, Seattle at 469. Number 3 is C. Goodwin, Tampa Bay at 511. Number 2 is Jamar Chase for Cincinnati at 565. Number 1 is M. Collins for Houston at 567. All right, your tackle leaders. You have Zay Franklin for the Colts at 60. You have E.J. Speed for the Colts at 60. You have D. Williams for Buffalo at 61. You have L. Wilson for Cincinnati at 61. You have R. Spilling for Las Vegas at 62. That's your number 1 tackling leader. Alright, your sack leader. Number 5, Mason Crosby for the Raiders at 5.5. Number 4, Kay Van Noy for Baltimore at 6.5. Number 2, tied for number 2 is Will McDonald. The 4th for the New York Jets at 7. Number 2, D. Lawrence for the Giants is at 7 sacks. Number 1 is A. Hutchinson for Detroit at 7.5. All right. Interception leaders. Tied for number 3 is B. Branch for Detroit at 3. Tied for number 3 is P. at Debo. New Orleans at 3. Number 3, tied for number 3 is D. Jackson, Pittsburgh at 3. Number 2 is K. Joseph, Detroit for 4. Number 1 is X. McKinney, Green Bay for 5. All right, week 8, NCAA football, Friday, October 18th, Oregon versus Purdue. Oregon is 6-0 versus Purdue is 1-5. 8 p.m. on Fox. The spread is Oregon 27.5. The total is 58.5. The money line is Purdue plus 1,500. Alright. I like Oregon in that game. You got Oklahoma. Versus Oklahoma State, 3-3 versus BYU, 6-0. 10:15, ESPN. The spread is BYU 9.5. The total is 55.5. The money line is Oklahoma State at plus 270. I like BYU to win the game. All right, Saturday, October 19th, 2024. Number 6, Miami. 6-0 versus Louisville, 4-2. 12 noon p.m. ABC, ESPN. The spread is Miami -4. All right, 60.5 is the total. The money line is Louisville plus 160. Alright, 6-0. I'm going with Miami. Alright, so you got Virginia 4-2 versus Clemson. Number 10 Clemson 5-1. 12 noon. ACC Network. The spread is Clemson 21.5. The total is 57.5. The money line is UVA plus 900. I like Clemson to win that game. Nebraska 5-1 versus Indiana 6-0. 12 noon p.m. on Fox. The spread is in Indiana 6.5 versus the money line is Nebraska plus 195. Alright, I like Indiana to win that game. Alright, Auburn 2-4 versus Missouri 5-1. 12 noon p.m. ESPN. The spread is what's the spread? The spread is 4.5. Missouri. Alright, the total is 51.5. The money line is Auburn plus 170. I like Missouri to win that game. Alright, East Carolina 3-3 versus number 23 Army 6-0. 12 p.m. noon kick, ESPN 2. Alright, the spread is Army negative 15. The total is 51.5. The money line is ECU plus 500. I like Army to win that game. Alright, you got number 7 Alabama 5-1 versus Tennessee. Number 11 Tennessee 5-1. 3:30 p.m. ABC, ESPN plus. The spread is Alabama 2.5. The total is 55.5. The money line is Tennessee plus 115. I like Tennessee to win that game. Alright, Notre Dame, number 12 Notre Dame is 5-1 versus Georgia Tech is 5-2. Uh, 3:30 p.m. The spread is Notre Dame negative 11. ESPN total is 49.5. The money line is Georgia Tech 320. I like Notre Dame to win that game. Number 24 Michigan is 4-2 versus number 22 Illinois is 5-1. 3:30 p.m. CBS Paramount. The spread is Michigan negative 3. 43.5 total. The money line is Illinois 135. I like Illinois to win the game. 5-1. I like it. No, actually, let me take that back. I am going with Michigan to win this game. I'm going with Michigan to win this game. Alright. Charlotte 3-1 versus Navy. Number 25 Navy 5-0. 3:30 p.m. CBS. The spread is Navy negative 17. The total is 55.5. The money line is Charlotte plus 550. I like Navy to win that game. Alright. Number 14 Texas A&M 5-1. Mississippi State is 1-5. 4:15 p.m. SEC Network. The spread is Texas A&M 15.5. The total is 56.5. The money line is plus 500. I like Texas A&M to win that game. Alright, number 8, LSU is 5-1 versus Arkansas 4-2. 7 p.m. kick. The spread is LSU -3. The total is 54.5. The money line is Arkansas plus 125. I like LSU to win that game. Alright, you got number 5, Georgia 5-1 versus Texas 6-0. 7:30 p.m. ABC, ESPN Plus. The total is 56.5. I like Texas to win that game. Texas is favored 4. The money line is Georgia plus 155. I like Texas to win that game. UCF is 3-3. Iowa State is 6-0. 7:30 p.m. FS1. Iowa State is -14. The total is 48.5. The money line is 5.5. Hold on. Alright, let me keep it going. Alright, Kansas State is 5.5. 5-1 versus West Virginia. 3-3. Alright. Kansas State's -3. The total is 55.5. The money line is West Virginia University plus 130. I like Kansas State to win the game. Number 21, SMU 5-1 versus Stanford 2-4. 8 p.m. on ACC Network. The spread is SMU 15.5. The total is 54.5. The money line is Stanford plus Stanford plus 500. I like SMU to win the game. NCAA top news. Utah rising out for the season. Wilson named starter. Lonnie Ducks purposely induced 12-man penalty. Notre Dame flips 4-star QB Herbert from Clemson. Smart didn't even realize he saved some player. Alright, Colorado State star wide receiver Horton out for the season. Gundy urges eye after running in ranch. Gators mints Hurston ACL ending college career. Ben ankle day today, but I don't know what I got wrote down there. Alright. NFL top headlines. Officiating among Rodgers greats and giveaway loss. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. Alright. McCarthy Cowboy relish chance to beat Belichick to bounce back. Alright, Lions coach won't count out Hutchinson. Alright, return this. I thought I read this already. Thought I did it in NFL top headlines. Alright, I think I did. Yeah, I did. Alright, the MLB scores, the playoffs, the Mets 7, the Dodgers 3. That was the final NLCS Game 1, series tied 1-1. The Guardians 2, the New York Yankees 5. The final, that was the ALCS Game 1. New York leads the series 1-0. Alright, Guardians 92-69. The Yankees 94-68 during the regular season. This is a Tuesday game, 7:30, 8 p.m. The money line is Cleveland 145. The Yankees negative 175. The total is 6.5. Alright, WNBA playoffs Wednesday. The Liberty is 32-8. The Lynx is 30-10. 8 p.m. ESPN. WNBA Finals Game 3. The series tied 1-1. The spread. New York negative 2.5. The total 160.5. The money line is Minnesota plus 115. I took the Liberty to win that game. NBA preseason, Monday, October 14, 2020. All right, the Wizards versus the Nets. The Nets won 131-92. The Grizzlies versus the Pacers. The Grizzlies won 120-116. All right, the 76ers. 76ers 104 versus the Hawks 89. All right, the Bulls 107 versus the Bucks 111. The Mavericks 96 versus the Clippers 110. Top news NBA. 76ers. George suffers hyperextended left knee. The Clippers rule out Leonard for rest of preseason. All right, LeBron has no idea if he and Steph will pair up again. All right, sources: Kings, Fox, bypass extension on 2025. The sources: Lonzo Ball. Something about Lonzo Ball. Return as Wolves. The Kings traded McDaniels to the Spurs. Sources say. Alright. Stuffy as I don't know what. Alright, that's it for this episode. Gonna shut it down. Pretty tired today. Thank y'all for tuning in. Catch y'all next week. Love you. Love you, love God, man. Be solid. Signing out.